Previously.
This is my 1986 Angler. It was in non-running condition. It's not in terrible shape. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. This thing's obviously dirty. So here's the interior of the boat. I do have one slight concern here. This, I'm assuming is storage for the anchor, but somebody made a little homemade hatch here. Some wood trim, which I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with. I thought about staining it, sanding it, putting it back on. I thought about taking it off. Thought about painting it. I don't really know. It's the first boat that I've had that has had wood trim on it, so I'm not really experienced in that. I guess I still have time to think about it. It's gonna be a big project. I've got some ideas. Hopefully I'm not in over my head and my wallet can keep up.
75 years later.
Well, it's been, I think, 2 years since I posted a video with this Angler. Bought it as a project. It was in terrible shape, didn't run, had to rebuild the engine from scratch, yada yada yada. Got carried away and bought another project boat, that blue Aquasport. Spent all my money and my time on that. Now, 2 years later, it's time to do something with it. First things first, getting back to the Angler, I want to fire this up. You can see how I left it 2 years ago. Left all these tools, all these parts. Freaking just left everything sitting here. I mean, the cover was on it, but aside from that, just completely neglected. I feel like a a-hole, but I'm finally going to give it the attention it deserves. I just got done fogging all the cylinders because, like I said, it's been sitting, haven't done crap with it. So rather than try to crank it with dry rings, give it some fogging oil. Got everything tightened back up. Let's see what she does. So I still got to do a few more things to button this thing up, and I can put all this back together. Hook the cables back up. I still got to put the controls back together up on the console. Let's see. And over here, I was originally going to use the oil injection, but I decided against it. It was kind of being finicky, leaking, and when it would leak, it would go into a fault and put the engine in limp mode. So I decided, this thing's got a tank full of premixed gas, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I disconnected it. You can see the harness there disconnected and all that. So I'm gonna finish the bypass, put that back together, fix the wiring here. You can see you've got some fraying going on the power cable, so I actually got a replacement for that. I put a new tilt switch on in the meantime, so I don't have to hook up jumpers or stand in the boat. One thing I did do though before I let it sit for the last 2 years, I was able to locate the safety lever. It's actually multiple pieces that run from one side to the other with a spring and all that, and I was able to actually locate the multiple pieces. It took me a couple months, but I got them on there just so that when I tilt it up, I can lock it in place and it doesn't rest on the hydraulics and possibly fall down. And I wasn't going to sell it anyways unless I had this safety, so I'm glad I was able to do that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and throw the cover on this because we're about to get a cold front and it's going to storm like heck. Then hopefully after that storm clears, dries up a little bit, I'm going to give this thing a bath and I'm going to clean up my mess. Start picking up all these tools, finding all the parts that I left scattered all over the place, and get this project back on track.
One eternity later.
I've got the two bait well hatches, and you can see this is what they looked like when I just took them off a little bit ago. And I've sanded that one down a little bit. I'm not going to go all the way. Kind of want to leave some of this age and weathering on there, and then I'm going to stain these with a red stain and then lacquer over them really good. I did the shifter bracket already. It didn't come out as good as I would like it to. I didn't sand it down like I did that one first. It was not this rough, but it was close, and I just stained it and put lacquer over it, so I think that one might turn out a little bit better. Pretty busy with it. Ever since I got rid of that Aqua Sport, I've been trying to focus on this and get it straightened out, get it where I want it. Still got some work to do on it though. I've done the topside coating on the hull, got some fresh bottom paint on it. I've been taking all the wood trim off from the interior, staining it, varnishing it, getting it looking right. I'll show you an example. So over here is what the interior of the boat looked like just a couple months ago. And this side shows you what it looks like after I've taken the wood off, refinished that, put new topside coating. I got a screw that's loose down there, I gotta fix that. But check out these hatches. And that looks way better compared to what it was. There's the other side. Got the doors of the cabin refinished as well, along with this top cover here. Recoated all of this. I still got some extra coatings that need to be applied up here on the deck and around the edges and whatnot. But you can see the hatch. I don't know if you remember, I'll try to cut in the original video with a wooden hatch that somebody had made out of plywood. I'm assuming it's storage for the anchor, but somebody made a little homemade hatch here. And I've gone and gave it a proper hatch. So I just got to clean that out, recoat that. I got to fix the little bench seat here. It's got a tear in the vinyl. But you can see I still got to strip out all that wood along that side. I'm getting ready to do that next. I just wanted to get a quick shot of that. Gotta refinish all this black trim here, which I've got the correct paint for that. All the trim around the windows. I got the windows to open. They were originally stuck closed, and somebody had sealed them off to keep them from being open. I got them open and sliding as they should. I also bought brand new captain's chairs for it, matching set. I could have fixed the ones that were there, but it was kind of goofy having mismatched styles of chairs there. And one of the things that I'm also doing on this is I got a new steering wheel, but the helm is replaced too now, and I'm installing hydraulic steering on this thing. I cut out the old cable steering, and I've got the hydraulic steering just kind of test fitted in there. I've got to obviously cut the cables, or not the cables, but the hoses to the right length, and then fill and bleed and get everything lined up just right. But I figured if I'm going to replace the steering, I might as well do it with something nicer. I'm going through all this effort, right? Battery compartments, I've got new hatches for those as well. I've just got to cut out the openings a little bit bigger so that those fit properly. I got one for each side. And then I've got the control box that I'm getting ready to put on. It's a newer Yamaha control box. And well, I was getting ready to show you the gauge cluster, but it looks like it got filled with water. That's great. Well, I'm probably going to have to replace those, but you can kind of see what I was going for. That sucks, but whatever. I'll figure out what to do with that. I've still got to refinish the top part of the cabin here. Like I said, when I get the wood trim off and start staining all that, I'm going to get all that white cleaned up and get it resurfaced. And I'll start painting the deck down here and getting those other little corners and crevices and stuff like that I gotta hit as well. working on the wiring. I know it's late. I think I got the switch down. I've got the switch wired exactly how I want it. So we have, I don't know if you can see it, nav and anchor. So nav is to the left. Oh, I guess we need battery. Alright, let's see if I get this right. Oh, the gauges are lit up. And we got the stern light. And we got the front navigation lights, the red and green, and the stern light, plus the gauges. Sweet. So that would be if we were under navigation, we'd have the switch in that position. And if we were anchored, we would have no gauges, stern light. Let's see if we can see it from up here. No bow light. Sweet. Well, I really got myself into one now. I saw the port side captain's chairs, the mount was sitting kind of sideways. So I went to check if it was loose or what, and as it turns out, somebody's been in there before. I don't know if they were doing something with the fuel tank or what, but when they put it back together, I guess it wasn't sitting straight. So they made a custom piece of starboard and just stuck it under this side to level it out and screwed it in. Obviously that's not right. So I gotta fix that. While I'm in there, I decided to check how big that gas tank is. That's a 65-gallon tank. And in today's gas prices, that's well over $300 worth of fuel to fill this thing up. But it doesn't look that bad. It's a little dirty, but I was expecting a lot worse. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those mounts off and see if I can't get this thing sitting the way it's supposed to. Well, I think I've done just about everything I planned on doing with this. Got the new numbers on up there. New angler vinyl on there. As you can see, I got the seats sitting straight now. The that pedestal, I guess whenever they had this cover off, doing whatever it was they were doing, they didn't put the pedestal back on right, and apparently it's got a specific way it's got to sit. If you look at the bottom of it, it's actually it's not completely flat, so I just had to find the right orientation, and then it sits perfectly flat. Oh, a little bag of screws, I'll take that. Yeah, there she is. Got all the wood redone. Got the hydraulic steering. Controls are all lined up. Got the new captain's chairs. One thing I don't like about these new hatches, so this one in particular, it's turning yellow in the sun. It's supposed to be UV protected and all this other crap, but geez, it's only been on there for what, 2 weeks? So that kind of sucks. But the ones in the back, over the batteries and the battery compartments, they're doing pretty good. Yeah, maybe that one's starting to turn a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to get this thing listed for sale, and we'll see if I can't make somebody a really good deal. This is a cold start.